G'day YouTube, G29 back with you again. Don't know why I did that, like I was swatting away a fly, but I was not. I'm here, as you can see from the layout, we're here with another draft recap. I know, crazy, what are you doing to yourself, son? Well, it wasn't really decided. My good friend Adam, the Bee's Knees, came to me and said, I want to build a league that has like the best battlers we know in it, with the best teams, super competitive, awesome. And I was like, okay, if we can try. We've been trying to do this for years, so I was like, okay, we'll just give it a shot. We actually got the people we wanted, a few returning faces, and the draft was really good. Like, everyone has a really good team. When we do the draft recap, I don't know if Adam and I will do it on his channel or whatever, but the teams are really scary, guys. I'm genuinely... You know me, I'm pretty confident when it comes to this format, but even I am a little bit worried about this. To rack off like some of the names you might know, we got Jack the Miendosh, we got Adam the Bee's Knees, we got Ryan, who is part of the Orange League, so if you follow the Orange League at all, I don't know if you would or even heard about it, very good battler. We probably have Stab, who we've had in the past. He was unable to complete another season with us, but he's back and he's an insane battler. We have plenty of others. You know River, who have battled already. So, anyway, all that aside, basically there were 10 of us in this tournament, and we all had the classic GBA rules. If you're not aware of the GBA rules, I will just take you through them real quick. So, basically, you get 11 picks. Essentially, you have 1,180 points for those 11 picks. So, let's say, okay, how can I break this down better? Come on, use English, Sam. I mean, Vertigo, that's definitely my name. Anyway, what you have to do is, initially you'll have 600 base points. They are made up of a tier 1 pick, a tier 2 pick, 2 tier 3s, a tier 4, and a tier 5 pick. Bang, straight away. So that leaves you with 580 to get a Mega Evolution, and then 4 other free agent Pokemon. So basically, you have to play really smart with your points. Normally, the way that people do it is they go with an OU Mega, which allows them 400 points to get 4 Pokemon. Now, initially I was tossing around some ideas and I have these weird formulas, but in the end, I had a kind of idea of the team that I wanted. And the good news, guys, was that my first 3 picks were not sniped. Unfortunately, after that, there was a snipe fest. Basically, the draft started when I was kind of asleep. Oh, my phone's gone back on charge, so I just want to make sure it's actually charging properly. The draft started when I was actually asleep. And so, well, technically, people knew what my first picks were going to be, and so I said, if it gets sniped, I would like, to do another pick, or, don't move forward. But fortunately, my first 2 picks were sniped, and then after that, I reckon 10, 15 Pokemon that I was strongly considering for my team in this series of time got sniped. It was freaking brutal, you guys. Freaking brutal. Okay, people are messaging me left, right, and center. I'm gonna try and charge my phone at the same time because it's on 3% battery. Please, phone. Please don't do this. Just be a team player. If you can hear that, that is the sound of my phone not being a team player. Anyway, so my strategy was to basically go with the classic GBA drafting style that I've done in the past, which is drafting those 600 points and then using the last 400 points to get yourself 1 OU, get 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, a tier 4, tier 5. That's normally how I do it. That way you have basically 2 Pokemon from every tier. That's normally the way you do it, that's how I do it. Anyway, so first pick. Funnily enough, guys, I got the first pick of the entire draft. The whole kit and caboodle. I could pick anything I wanted. And I know what you're thinking. Vertigo, you surely picked Mew, because Mew is the best Pokemon in this format. And you'd be wrong. The reason I didn't pick Mew was because, although Mew is good, I actually find Mew to be a really annoying Pokemon to build teams around. I've used Mew in the past, it's great, but it's just, it can be so frustrating. So I decided to go with a Pokemon. probably just watched the clip that I put in because I have no life. He's back! John Cena is back, my boy. Clefable is so good in this format, and if you don't think so, what is wrong with you? Let's just break it down. A pure fairy typing means we're only weak to 2 things. Steel and poison. Now, when it comes to resistances, steel, poison, fire. 3 things. Cool. We are strong against dragon, strong against dark, so it adds up pretty well for Clefable, and it has a range of movesets. Let's just break down what this thing can do. It can set up Calm Mind to be annoying. It can be a cleric. It can also be a stealth rock setter. It can be a setup sweeper with not only cosmic power, stored power, but also with Calm Mind, Moonblast, all those things. Clefable is like the definition of versatility, and I think it's more versatile than Mew because I think Clefable fills a lot more roles than Mew can in a team. Mew can be like, sure, AV, Life Orb, Scarf, Banded, but Clefable can mold a team perfectly. And I just knew that if I was going to pick a Pokemon first, Clefable had to be it because I knew how good it could be for my team. And there's not really much else I need to say about Clefable. You don't really know. Its stats might look like great, but a pure fairy typing is phenomenal. Fairy types are very, very good in this format, and Clefable is the very best of them all. The only thing maybe that rivals it is Mega Altaria, but I honestly think Clefable is better because, again, it serves a lot more roles in the team. It can deal with so many threats. Being unaware means that a lot of my opponent's setup sweepers are not going to have much of a chance against me. And if I want to just run the Magic Guard set, my opponents can't poison me, they can't burn me. It just gives me a lot of incredible momentum sometimes, and it can just run so many different sets, run so many different moves, even gets T-Waves so I can like stun people. I'm just really excited to use Clefable this season, honestly, because I know how good of a Pokemon it is, and I think it is definitely worthy of being the first thing picked. So we got that out of the way, we got the first pick done. I was like, yes, awesome. I fell asleep. And it got back up to me, and there were 2 Pokemon I wanted next, and both of them were available, so I was like, oh, okay. I woke up and I had these 3 Pokemon on my team, and I was like, yes, things are looking good. So when I woke up, things were looking really, really good, guys, because I saw my team and the 3 things that I had, and I was like, oh, alright, things are looking good. Now, let's break down what I got with next. What pairs well with Clefable is what I was thinking, and what I came up with was these guys. So first up, we got my boy Slowbro. The Slowbro. Dude, Slowbro is so good. The fact that it is an OU Pokemon, but is only worth 120 points, I knew I had to snaffle this guy up as soon as I could. His versatility in this format is second to none. Again, like Clefable, he fills a lot of purposes for my team. He can be a defensive wall, a special wall, he can run Assault Vest offensive, he can run Trick Room offensive, he can do a lot of things. He can't set up hazards, but he can do some really scary stuff. He can be defensive Calm Mind, and that can actually be genuinely terrifying for your opponent to deal with. So definitely think that a lot of my opponents this season are going to have to play really carefully around my Slowbro. I think that also, like I said, it is a very good bargain for the amount of points that I got it for. I think one of the really cool things about it too is its typing. Water Psychic is really good. When it comes to pairing with Clefable, it deals with Clefable's steel and poison weaknesses at the same time, as well as dealing with the fire types that Clefable normally can't touch. One downside of Slowbro is that it is weak to dark types, but fortunately Clefable can deal with those dark types. It also resists bug types that can hurt Slowbro, so there is a little bit of synergy there already. But guys, this synergy is completed by one last Pokemon, a Pokemon that, like Slowbro, has access to an ability called Regenerator, and that is my dank Shrooms, Amoonguss. Amoonguss is not the most versatile Pokemon. Offensively speaking, it's not ideal. It normally is either running offensive Assault Vest, defensive Assault Vest, defensive, specially defensive, depending if you want to run Spore or not. Its move pool isn't like very broad, but what it brings to the table is a fantastic typing, and with the moves that it has, a very functional Pokemon. Amoonguss has a ridiculously good HP stat, allowing it to eat up a lot of hits. It has access to Spore, 100% Sleep move, which is absolutely phenomenal. It also has Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, things like Clear Smog, access to really good hidden power fires like every Pokemon, access to Foul Play, which is really underrated, has lots of different powders it can use too, so it definitely has a lot of versatility. You can even run it with Effect Spore. I'm going to try and be cheeky and catch things with status, but most of the time I'm going to be running Regenerator, because the really cool thing about this is that a lot of the things that Amoonguss is weak to, Slowbro deals with, and vice versa. So they can actually work really well with each other, which is a very exciting prospect for me with these two Pokemon. I'm very keen to see how they can do. I think that it is a bit of a bulky offense so far, so it means that Stall Breakers have a chance to break through my team. So later on, as you'll see, I tried to kind of mitigate that, but I think so far I'm very happy with how things are going. I woke up and I saw these were the 3 Pokemon I had. I was like, sick, awesome, I'm loving it. This is great. Then what I did was I looked at what everybody else had picked. My next 2 picks when it came back to me, guys, I was planning to get Mega Scizor and Tornadus Therian, because that would have basically finished off all my cores and stuff, and I've been like, yes, awesome, I'm very happy with this, there's nothing else I really need. Unfortunately, in the first 3 picks that people had done, within the first 4 picks people had done, Mega Scizor and Tornadus Therian were taken. Now, this is kind of expected, they're both very, very good Pokemon, so can't really blame people for doing that, if I'm going to be honest with you. Still kind of frustrating, though. But it is what it is, and we're going to try and, act like, it's not a surprise that they've been taken. So I had to really shuffle up my game plan. I was thinking, okay, God, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? And I said, okay, Tornadus Therian was meant to be my my Tier 1 pick, so I decided that instead I would just make my Tier 1 pick regular Scizor. Now, I'm actually okay with this, looking back on it now, because regular Scizor, I think, is more versatile than Mega Scizor. Mega Scizor only has its Mega Stone as its item, which means that it can be very limited in the roles that it can fulfill. My Scizor can run Occa Berry, so I don't lose to HP Fire. It can also run Band, so I can hit harder. It can run Scarf, so I can outspeed things. It can run Lefties for better recovery and not just relying on Roost. It can run a lot of diverse moves. The only downside is it has a little bit less bulk on its side, but it has all the same moves and all the same functionality, so I think the Scizor will still be a very important Pokemon for me this season. I think its versatility is second to none. The fact that it is a really good typing as well. Bug Steel is a very good offensive typing, and I don't believe anybody drafted Magneton or Magnezone, which means I'm not going to be getting Magnet pulled anytime soon. So that's awesome. Nobody drafted Skarmory either, so a lot of people don't really have ideal switch-ins to a Scizor, which is really nice, because it is a Pokemon that I feel in this kind of format can be used really well and put in a lot of work. So I'm very happy to have this in my team. What did I call? Yeah, I call my Scizor Scarlet. I just do. If you don't like it, sucks to be you. Next up, so I noticed that I had a lot of good special bulk, and I picked up Scizor as a offensive verse, and I realized, okay, if things are getting sniped super quick, I've got to get the most ideal mons that I can ASAP. And that's why I decided for my 5th pick. It seemed really early at the time. Honestly, a lot of people wanted it in the end, and I'm so glad I picked it when I did. Pick number 5 for me was Emboar. So Spit Roast the Emboar joins the team. I'm beginning to fall in love with Emboar in this format, not just from watching Miguel use it in the GBA. I think I was falling in love with it because I'm realizing it really is the budget fire type. I think the issue with fire types when I draft them in the past is that I'm always very wary of Stealth Rocks, but with Emboar, I don't really have to worry about Stealth Rocks. Like, they do normal damage to me like any other Pokemon, and so it's only when I have to worry about like spike stacking, but I think only one person has a spike stacker, so, or no, two people have spike stacking. But it doesn't really matter, because obviously, I will have ways of getting rid of hazards, and Emboar itself has a really good typing. Firefighting is sick. Honestly, it's a very, very strong typing for Emboar. Almost pairs perfectly with things like Amoonguss and Slowbro, again supporting him in a really nice Fire Water Grass core there. It is insanely good on the offensive side. It has Reckless, which means that Flare Blitz, Head Charge and Wild Charge do a ton of damage. I actually don't know if it gets Head Charge. It might. Has access to Sucker Punch, Superpower, Head Smash, a lot of really good moves, even Grass Knot, and Scald. It actually has access to Scald, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So this thing is really awesome, to be honest. I'm really excited to get it. I think the thing for me is that it can also just serve a lot of roles. It can be defensive if I need to, because I know somebody brought Weavile, so if I have to, I'll use it for that. But then again, I have other ways of dealing with Weavile, so we'll have to wait and see what I do with it. But I think that Emboar is definitely going to be a really important member for my team this season, because it can achieve so many different things. So I'm really excited to see how the Big Pig can go this season. Fingers crossed that my boy Emboar can get the job done. Anyway, we are going to move on a little bit more now, because at this point things were just getting sniped left, right, and center, and I'm sitting here thinking, God, what am I going to get next? I was talking to Jack at the time, and I'm like, dude, I'm getting sniped so hard right now. I even got sniped by him, because I thought what I could do, my basic plan was my next two picks were going to be Mega Ampharos, because it gave me a good Dragon Electric type, and gave me enough points that I could get Landorusterian as another tier 1. Unfortunately, because Jack chose to get Mega Ampharos, I wasn't able to pick it up, which is fine, you know, it's a good pick, so I can, you know, respect him for doing that. It came back to me, and I realized, okay, I need a bit more bulk, but also another good offensive option. So I decided with my next pick to pick up Lilith, otherwise known as my Gliscor. Now, Gliscor is really cool in this format. Obviously, the weakness to Ice does suck, because a lot of things can run HP Ice, so I have to be very, very careful of that. But one really big advantage, I think, of Gliscor is the fact that it can be very, very good, both physically, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, it's an absolute tank. It can take hits for days, you know, deal with threats. It can do this, that, and anything, which is awesome. Toxic healing, shenanigans, great. On the offensive side, it has access to Swords Dance and Agility, Baton Pass, Earthquake, Ice Fang, Aerial Ace, Acrobatics, Sky Uppercut. It has a lot of really cool moves at its disposal. It has access to like really cheeky moves as well. You know, it can run like the Toxic, Sub, Protect, all that really annoying stuff that people never really appreciate. I can run it really obnoxiously if I have to. In order to win, I will do that, because that is how you're meant to play. You're meant to play to win. That's the point. It's a game, but you want to win the game, right? Like, you know, these people understand. But anyway, I really do feel like Gliscor is going to be really good, because the other thing is Gliscor pairs pretty darn well with a lot of my team. I'm just saying, I'll look at my team now, back at it. Gliscor does pretty well for itself. Basically, everything that it's weak to is dealt with by Slowbro, so it's pretty nice. I'm very excited to see what Lilith can do for us this season. Anyway, I decided that my next pick would be my first of two tier 5 picks, and you guys know that I've used this in the past. I really do enjoy using this Pokemon because I feel that it is one of the better clerics in the game. So I decided to pick up Bubblegum, the Ordino. Now you guys have seen this Ordino in the past, and you know what it can do, and that's fine, it's all good. There's not really much I have to explain. The basic fact of Ordino is that it's Regenerator, which is great, has over base 100 HP, which means its wishes are very strong. It has access to Wish, Heal Bell, what's the other one? No, that's basically it. Just Wish and Heal Bell, and has a Regenerator so it can heal itself when it passes off a Wish. Anyway, it has access to Knockoff. It has actually a lot of really good moves that it can learn, so I can actually, you know, be a bit cheeky with Ordino if I have to be at some point. So maybe we'll see offensive Ordino in a battle. That'd be pretty cool, I guess. But I'm really happy that I was able to get Bubblegum, because I felt that could also be sniped, so it was really good to pick that thing up before somebody else did. So we're basically at the halfway point here, I think. We've got 7 Pokemon down, we've got 4 to go. So it went through again, it came back to me, and again things were getting sniped. And little Verdi boy, I needed some good picks coming up, guys. I really did. I had basically both of my tier 1s sorted, both of my tier 2s sorted, both of my tier 3s were sorted, I think. No, they weren't. I had one tier 3 to get, and I had one tier 4 to get, and I knew the time was now. I knew I could get my Mega pretty safe. I knew I could get my tier 5 pretty safe. I felt. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll just get these guys now. Just get them out of the way. So the next Pokemon they ended up picking up is an old-time favorite of mine, and that is Kim Jong-il, my Electros. Electros is actually kind of cool in this format. It's an underrated electric type. It actually has one of the most diverse move pools I've seen in a Pokemon. You can run this bad boy physically offensive, specially offensive. It has access to U-turn and Volt Switch, so you can actually counter those ground types that are trying to give you grief by running the U-turn so that they don't try and block you. It also means you actually beat Jolteon 1v1 because you can switch out if you need to, and Jolteon's stab is going to do absolutely nothing to you. I really like how it has a range of crazy moves. It has Knockoff, Flamethrower, Giga Drain, Dragon Tail, Super Fang. It has so many options, which is really cool. I really like that about Electros, actually. So I'm really excited to see the kind of work that Kim Jong-il can put in. I got some cheeky strats already that I'm planning against some people with it, so I know how good this thing can be. And so I'm very happy that I got it. And the next one was, I decided I wanted one more like kind of bulky mon, I guess, but also bulky offense like Electros. I haven't used this Pokemon in the past, but I was really excited to give it a try this season. And so, now normally, this was tough. When it came to giving this thing a nickname, I really didn't know. But I decided to call it Swiss, because it's not either way, it's just neutral. So, Swiss, my Kyurem. Now normally I call my Kyurem Black Kyurem Racism, and I guess I call Kyurem White Kyurem Supremacy, because I'm just a really bad person. But basically I really wanted Kyurem this season because Kyurem is a fantastic typing, has a really solid move pool, and it's just a very underrated mon. It's currently chilling down in UU, but it's only worth 100 points, so it's actually a bit of a bargain, I felt, for that price. And I was very excited to use it because I feel like Kyurem is a very underappreciated Pokemon and can put in a lot of work for my team. Has really good HP stat, I believe it's 125 off the top of my head. Has really good special attack and physical attack, and has very, very good bulk. So I think I can use this thing to the best of my potential this season. And I think that, you know, its array of moves, it has like Outrage, Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail, it has Ice Beam, has Earth Power, has Roost, Sub, Toxic, lots of different options, lots of shenanigans that can be done, and I'm very excited to see what my little boy Swiss can do this season, because I feel like Kyurem is actually a very, very good Pokemon in this format, regardless if it's black or not. So, yeah. That's why it's called Swiss. Anyway, we have 2 picks left, guys, and then our draft is completed. So at this stage, basically, I knew exactly what Mega I was getting. My last tier 5 pick, I was just going to go with Dusclops, because I was like, yeah, Dusclops. Cool, easy, nobody's going to pick that. Got friggin' sniped, and I was like, no. Unfortunate. But that's okay. These things happen, we can move on from them. So I decided to go with the next best thing. And I picked up, Gavin Sr., the Dusknoir. Now, Dusknoir is kind of an interesting Pokemon. It doesn't have Eviolite, so it's not as bulky, but it has higher defenses. And it means that I can run things like Leftovers or Choice Band, because Dusknoir does have access to Trick, which means that I can actually do some pretty cheeky shenanigans against some of my opponents, which I'm very excited to see Dusknoir actually do. It has base 100 attack as well, so it is a bit of an offensive threat. The main premise is that I kind of want a Dusknoir as a good spin blocker and a good ghost type for the team. I would have preferred Dusclops' bulk, but I think Dusknoir can still take some really good hits for the team. I'm really hoping that we can use Dusknoir well this season. I think that it was probably my least favorite pick out of all mine. I wasn't really wanting it, but I wanted it more than Miss Mages, so that's how I kind of felt. Then we come to the last pick. Now, I had wanted this thing from the start of when I found out this season was happening. I really wanted to use this thing. There are 2 Pokemon that I've always really wanted to use in this format. One is Mega Pinsir, but I still haven't had the balls to use it, and I'm going to regret that till the day that I die. And the other guy I picked up this season because I've always wanted to use him. He is definitely in my top 3 favorite megas, and I really just want to use him. So I ended up picking up my boy Cocktail, which is the Mega Gyarados. Now, you don't normally see Mega Gyarados in this format, and I think that is a crime. Mega Gyarados is scary, guys. Not only does this thing have ridiculous attack, it has one of the best abilities in this format, Mold Breaker. Why is that good? It means that Pokemon with Unaware can't stop you. It means Pokemon with Sturdy can't stop you. It means Pokemon that are levitating are going to get hit by Earthquake. And it just genuinely means that my Gyarados does not care about your problems. For example, if you have a Pokemon that has Magic Guard, like Reuniclus, Gyarados can go for things like Toxic on you, and you will get poisoned. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Can't remember. Don't know if you take the poison damage though. No. But it means that, say you're going to practice a Mega Sableye, it means Mega Sableye will get Toxic. It can't Magic Bounce it back because I'm breaking the mold, which is sweet. It has a really good typing. Water and Dark is sick. I already had a Water type in, oh, there's a cockroach crawling up. That's kind of creepy. I just saw some antenna flicking around. He's just finding his way. That's kind of gross. I'm definitely not in a messy room. Don't make eye contact with it. Anyway, Mega Gyarados' typing is phenomenal. I already had Slowbro as a water type, but I think they both are very, very different Pokemon and actually support each other kind of well, because Gyarados is weak to fighting, which is dealt with by Slowbro, which is kind of sweet. Has access to Dragon Dance, Taunt, Sub, Waterfall, EQ, Ice Fang. A lot of really, really good options, and the fact that it can be a very, very good stall breaker is one of the main reasons why I was very, very excited to pick up this monstrosity of a Pokemon this season. I really do think that it's going to put in an immense amount of work for my team because of, you know, what it can do for my team. I think that Gyarados, especially in the Mega form, is very, very underrated in OU right now. And I kind of want to show again how threatening this thing can be if you do not prepare for it well. And a lot of my opponents can't really prepare for it that well. So I'm really looking forward to using this thing and seeing it put in an immense amount of work. That is basically it for the draft, guys. You sat through this like absolute champions for about 30 minutes, and I really respect that. When I look back on my team, I do think, honestly, my best pick is obviously Clefable. I think my MVP is going to be Sizzle, though. I feel like he's going to pick up a lot of really good revenge kills. And also, he will just be, I think, my MVP because of his ability to just break through my opponent's teams. Is going to be very, very important. I think my dark horse of my team is going to be the Mega Gyarados. I think people aren't going to expect it to be as strong as it is, and it could get a couple of sweeps, which would be really handy. My least favorite pick is definitely Dusknoir. I really didn't want it. I really would have preferred Dusclops, but you know what? It's okay. We'll see how it goes. I do get 3 redrafts and trades throughout, so maybe I can convince the guy with Dusclops to trade for Dusknoir. We'll see. Fingers crossed, maybe we can get away with that. I highly doubt it, but anyway, guys, that's basically it. Let me know what you think about my draft. Our first round match will be coming up at some point. It is against Nolan, otherwise known as Stab, of the Chicago Sacred Fire, one of the tougher opponents. So we're really going to have to build well if we want to beat him. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. I really hope you enjoy this draft recap and you support the Tampa Bay Frogadiers. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. It's Video29 signing out.